though we started on Monday, this is my first lecture actually. So, so module code, I think you are familiar with it, IT1100. So this Internet and Web Technologies subject students, it comes under IT department. So that's why the module code in front, we have IT. So credit points, it carries 4 credits. Method of delivery, it's like we have 2-hour lecture per week, and there will be 1-hour tutorial session, and there will be 2 hours of lab sessions. So this is your course web page link, which I know that you all know it. Otherwise, that's how you took this Zoom links and you join with the lecture. So this is the enrollment key. Okay. So learning outcomes. So I'm not going to explain all these things in very clear details, but I just want you to have a brief idea why we are going to learn this subject, what we expect you, what we expect you to gain after you learn this subject. So these are the learning outcomes. So the first one, you would be able to explain the concepts and technologies that associated with internet-related applications. So basically, students, under this subject, we are going to learn about web technologies, how we can create web application, how we can create websites, how we can create even simple mobile application using these basic web technologies. So once you learn them, you will be able to explain the concepts and technologies associated with that. So that is the learning outcome 1. LO2, you need to identify the effective use of social media, which I'm pretty sure that you are very much know, and you are very much highly engaged with social media. So in this subject, we also have a session how we can use this social media with internet-related technologies, like in websites, how we can do these integrations. So you will identify those techniques as well. Learning outcome 3, you will be able to explain the fundamentals of e-commerce. What are the fundamental things on the e-commerce application? So e-commerce in the sense like commerce, you know, like we are buying and selling things. So when it comes to e-commerce, now these days we are buying, we are selling goods online. So how this online technology, like online applications like Alibaba, like eBay, like Amazon, how these domains work and what are the fundamentals of the domains. You are going to learn about that. Learning outcome 4, you are going to apply, you are going to learn what is markup language, and we are going to learn quite a few markup languages and how we can apply them. And then learning outcome 5, you will learn how to implement a web application. So there's a difference between website, web application, dynamic website. So we are going to learn all of these things. Then what are the web standards? So whenever we are creating a web page, how we should design the UI, all these things you are going to learn. Last but not least, you will be able to explain why we need these web standards. So what are the usabilities? What are the security concerns of all these things? So don't get scared. Don't put all these things now into your head. I just want you to have a brief idea about what are the learning outcomes. Okay, so the scary part, assessment criteria. So there will be like altogether 5 criteria that you will be assessed during this subject. First one is your mid-semester exam, which happens like probably in the 8th week. Okay. So I couldn't remember whether I start recording this one or not. Sorry for that. Okay, so So a mid-semester exam, it will be a MCQ exam, like probably will be getting about 40 questions, which you are supposed to finish in 1 hour online exam. Very straightforward one. And then this assignment, part 1, part 2, part 3. So actually students, this is, you have only one assignment. So in that one particular assignment, you have 3 different submissions. So part 1, you're supposed to submit. So what you have to do under your assignment is basically you are supposed to create a web application. So it will be a group assignment. You will be assigned to 4-member group. I think probably next week you will be getting the groups that you are assigned to. Under SPM module also you have some group project and some other subjects too. So the same group will continue with IWT as well. So there will be 4 members. So you are supposed to create a web application. We will be giving you the titles and description, like what kind of website or web application that you need to create. So the first submission, assignment part 1 submission, which gives you like 5% weight, is like your plan. Okay. You have to switch off you have to mute your microphones. And make sure when you are logging, switch off your cameras as well, right? Okay. So this first submission, actually, student, that you're supposed to submit within 1 month after we started this semester, it's the plan. So what are you going to do? How you are going to do? All the details, your project plan that you're supposed to submit, it carries 5% mark. And please keep this in mind, even though this is a group project, you will be assigned, you will be assessed individually. So the marks are given to your particular component. Okay. So part 2, once you finalize what kind of a project that you are going to do, you are supposed to create, like you have to sketch those pages in simple terms. You have to sketch the pages that you are going to create. We call them, you have to create a wireframes. So what you are going to develop, you have to first sketch it. So these are the pages that we are going to create. So these are the pages that we have in our website. That is your assignment submission part 2. That also carries 5% weight. Then your final assignment submission part, where you have to submit the whole project as one, and there will be a Viva session during your lab classes. You will be assessed. You have to do a Viva and explain us the project that you develop, and you will be asked some questions during that presentations. For that, you will be given 20% of marks. So your final exam, probably this semester also, it would be an online exam. Let's hope that you be fortunate enough to come to the university and since your first semester also you did everything online. So let's hopefully wait and see whether you can do this second semester exams at the uni. So yeah, I hope that things will be settled by then. So final exam, normally under IWT we are having a written exam. So paper, it's a essay question paper. So you will be getting essay questions, 3 essay questions with coding and all. When it comes to online, it could vary. Sometimes it will be like last year we had only MCQ paper for the final exam. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so this assignment thing, I think I already explained that one. Even though I mentioned it here as an individual assignment, since the student count seems to be a bit higher than we expected, it will be a group assignment. So everything I mentioned here, it's here. So please keep in mind, once this deadline is fixed, there's no way that we can extend or we can change. So keep this deadline in your mind and you have to do the work accordingly. Okay, reference materials. Number 1 and the best reference material for your IWT subject is W3 School. There's a website called W3 School. So you can go to that website. All the tutorials, everything about the content that we are going to learn in IWT is there. That is your guru. W3 School is your guru. Apart from that, for those who are interested in ebooks, you can refer to these ebooks. And also there's another interesting blog called Tutorials Point. There also you can find plenty of tutorials regarding this subject. But if you continuously join with the lecture, and if you participate the activities that we are doing on the lecture, you don't have to use these reference materials a lot. To learn new thing, of course, you can use these reference materials, but everything that we expect you to learn under this subject is we are going to teach it during the lectures. Okay. So these are the lecturers that are involved with IWT. So I myself, like I said, I'm the lecturer in charge. So you can drop me a mail if you have any questions regarding the lectures or content of the lectures. You can drop me a mail, dilani.l. So other details like contact, who to when. Let me share. Okay. You can see this, right? Course web page. Okay, there are chats. I didn't say that. Okay, you can't create groups. No, I'm sorry, you can't. Well, okay, so yeah, you have to work on with the group that you are assigned, right? So you can't do that. You don't have that luxury. Okay, you can do that when you're in your final year. Of course, you can create your own groups. But since now you're in your first year, you don't know other people, so you're not allowed to create groups. Okay, okay. So here, students, the contact persons. Any questions, queries, or anything that you have regarding the lectures, please drop a mail to me. So whenever you're dropping a mail or writing a mail regarding this exam matter, on your subject line, mention IWT lecture matter, IWT tutorial matters, like that. It's easy for us to filter your emails in that way. So questions related to lectures, you have to drop mails to me. If you have any question regarding the tutorials and this final project that I explained, actually I did not quite well explain the final project. End of this week, there will be a video uploaded to your course web explaining everything about the final project and what you are supposed to do, what are the expected outcome, everything will be there. So please make sure that you watch that video. So any problems regarding the final project and tutorials, you can contact Jenny, jenny.k@slit.lk. And then any questions you are getting at the labs or any complaint or anything, you can contact tilini.j@slit. So don't CC every mail to myself, no need to do that, right? So these people themselves can solve your problems. If they can't, they will always come to me. So no need to CC to each and every one. Please pick the correct person and drop the mail. Okay. Back to the lecture. Right. So these are the instructors we have right now. There will be some new recruits as well. For the time being, students, we have Madhushi, Madhura, Subhashini, and Ishana. Subhashini is the lead instructor for this IWT module. So during the labs, also you can contact Subhashini. So what you can do is whenever you're having problems with your labs, first drop mails to the relevant instructor. Let's say your lab is doing by Madhura. First drop a mail to Madhura asking a solution for that particular question. So if you are not getting any response, or if you have any queries regarding the labs or instructors, then you can contact the link, right? Okay. So this is a must. Since now everything is online, there's no notice board or anything as such. So you have to check your course web regularly. There will be so many updates on the pages, right? Not only for this IWT, for all the subject students, please regularly check the course web page. Okay, so that is all about the introduction and some things that I need you to be aware of. Shall we move on to the lecture? Okay, so now I have 150 participants, but this group is supposed to have 100 and what are the first semester subjects? We need a lot study this IWT subject. Yeah, when it compared with OP and other subjects that you are learning in your first year student, with IWT actually, like it's not difficult, to be honest. IWT subject is not difficult, but there are a lot of things that you have to remember and you have to study, starting from how we can create a simple web page, and then how you can create it with interactive web page with images, videos and all, and then how you can have these activities on that, pop-ups and various user-friendly activities, and then how you can connect with database. So you will be learning so many languages during this IWT subject, starting from HTML. You will learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, little bit of Ajax, and then PHP, MySQL. Yes, I know it's too much, but it's not that difficult when it compared with Java and C. It's not difficult. All these languages are very user-friendly. You can easily remember, and they're quite interesting. Like it's the projects and everything that we are doing with IWT. They are very interesting. So you will see that, right? Okay. Right. So first lecture of IWT, concept and technologies associated with the web application. That is our lecture 1. Okay. So during today's lecture, student, we are going to learn about data networks and the internet. So when it says data network and internet, all these words are very familiar to you, but we are going to see what are the definition of this data network and internet when it says in those words. Then we are going to learn about network services and protocols. What are protocols? What are network services? We are going to learn about that. Then web server and browser. And then finally, we are going to learn about what are the markup languages that we use in web development. So these are the content of today's lecture. Okay, so let's move on to the first title, data network and internet. So when we say a network, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? So you can answer it on the chat window. What is a network? Forget about computer, forget about the internet and everything. If someone say a network, what is a network? What do you think? What is a network? Very good. Connections. Krishan, I think, yes, connect to each other, collection of equipments, very good. What else? Collection of connections, Damidu, yes. Connection to communicate, very good. Pratibha, very good. Okay, so the word connection. So when it say a network, you know, group of components that are connected together. Okay, that is what I was, that is the answer that I was looking for, the complete answer actually. So the connection has to be there, and then you need to have a component. So these components are connected together, wired or wireless, of course they will be very good. So network, when we say a network, there need to be a similar component. Similar component, and then those components need to be connected. So what you can say on the screen, we can see a set of human and connection. So this is a human network. So think about slit. We have different level of people there, right? We have management level, we have a lecturer level, we have non-academic level, we have academic level, and then we have students, and then we have top management. So different levels, but the component which connect together are the human. So the component is same. So all these components are connected together to create this slit network. So it's a human network. What is this? It's a cartoon image, but are you familiar with this one? Anyone? Neurons, yes, very good. Neural network, which is there on our brain. So similar components, very good. Very good, yes. Okay. So neural network, similar components connect together, and then they do a communication, right? So network need to have a similar component. Those components are connect together and they do communication. So if we come to a definition to a network, this is according to the Cambridge Dictionary. I don't want you to remember a definition of a network, but I actually want you to understand when it's a network, it has to be a large system, or it has to be a system. It consists many similar parts. Those similar parts need to be connected together, and there has to be a movement or communication. So when it comes to this neural network, movements, the blood movements, right? It happens like if it comes to a human network, the communication happens along the part or between the part and the I can't see this one, control center. So there has to be some kind of a control center in the network. So this is, student, basically network, right? So you don't have to think about the computer network. So when it comes to wireless, wired, and all those things, it comes with the computer network. But if we just focus on network, what is a network? It's a large system. It has many similar parts. All these parts are connected together, and it allows to do movements of communication. So these 4 points you have to keep in mind. Here, okay, I think it's clear. So there are different types of network available. Like, let's only consider the networks which are available in our country according to the nature of usage. We have telecommunication networks. And we have television and radio networks, right? So this now we don't have this one, right? Sri Lanka Telecom, it combined with Mobitel, and now it calls something else, right? I can't remember the name. Sri Lanka Mobitel or something, right? Okay. So we can't use this logo anymore. Okay. Someone knows that. SLD Mobitel, yes. So we can't use this logo. Okay. Outdated. Right. So we have telecommunication network for this mobile and all these things, and then broadbanding, and then television and radio network. That is a separate kind of network. And then what is this? So this transportation. So it also kind of a network, right? Transport network. So there are parts and connections, and then the similar components are doing the movements, right? There's no communication, but there's a movement. So it's a network, transport network. And then your favorite, social networks. Do we have anyone who doesn't have a Facebook account or Instagram account, or anyone who never did a TikTok? I hope not, right? Okay. Okay, I can see. Yes. Now, where's this? Someone raised hand. Is it a mistake, or maybe that person doesn't have a Facebook account or Instagram, right? Okay, good. Okay. And then the final one, and then the important one that we are going to discuss further is about the computer or data network, which is important to our lesson, computer or data network. Since now you know what is a network, if I ask you what is a computer or a data network is, now I told you there are 4 parts to be there to someone to be a network. So there has to be a similar parts, right? So similar parts, they has to be connected together, and there has to be some kind of media or communication during all these parts. Okay. So what we can see here. So this kind of a computer network, where can we see this one? What is the place we can see this kind of a network? Office, school? What do you think? Yes, probably this is at home, right? So if you consider about office, there has to be multiple desktops. Of course, there are multiple, but probably like this is a home network, right? So you have a computer, and then, so let's say, so how it works. So mobile phone, who has the mobile phone? You have the mobile phone. So desktop, probably your father. So laptop, father. Mother should have the laptop, right? So mother should always have, mother should always have the good one, right? Okay, so yes. So mother has the laptop, then dad use your desktop, right? Okay, so you have this router there, and then there has to be a printer, PlayStation for you, okay. Okay, so then smartphone. So all these things are connected to your router, and then through that you use internet. So this is a home network, right? Okay. Okay, smart fridge. Do we have a printer connected with smart fridge? Okay, doesn't matter. So a computer network or a data network, it's a digital telecommunication network which allows nodes to share resources. Now, we are going to give names for that particular items that we recognize in a network. So hereafter, there are no thing called component, but we call these component or these devices nodes. So computer network, you have nodes. Then these nodes or these computing devices, so all these devices, those are computing devices. So these nodes use connections between each of these nodes. So here you can see with desktop and router, the connection between this one, the data link, it's a wired connection. Whereas with the smartphone and the router, the connection between the router and smartphone, it's a wireless one, right? So it could be either wired or it could be wireless. So these links, we call them data links. So these data links, students, they are established over cable media like wires or fiber optic cables, or mostly wireless media, right? So now what you need to understand is, in a computer network, we have nodes and data links. So these nodes and data links, they can be, with these data links, they can be either wired or wireless. So all these things connect together and create this data network in order to do the communication, right? So this is a very clear image and very clear idea of the computer network or data network. Okay. Why we need data network? So these are the most important reasons or most important application of data networks. Number one, resource sharing. So it's very obvious, right? Resource sharing. So if you don't have this kind of a network at home, we need to give router to your mother, and mother is carrying a router with her laptop. And then with the desktop, we will be having a router. And then mobile phone, you can have data. You can use the mobile data. And then to use the printer, you have the desktop. And then for that also, you need to have another router. So instead of having different devices for one particular task, we can use one router to connect with all these devices. So resource sharing. Think about the university, or think about our staff room. So we have one common printer. All our machines are connected to that particular printer. So there are about 60 people in the staff. We all use the same printer. So instead of doing that, if everyone, like each and every one of us are supposed to have a separate printer, is it possible? Of course, it's possible. Like, yeah, like you can have a huge place, and then you can have like one printer and one machine to each and all the lecturer, but it's waste of money, waste of resources, right? So the first application of data network, and very important application, is resource sharing. So you can just share the hardware like printers, disk, things like that. And software application also, there are like one software application we all can use instead of having it separately in separate machine. Okay. Give me a second. Sorry. Okay. So what we will discuss about resource sharing. Yes, so that is the first application of data network. Second one, information sharing. So the resource sharing is one thing, information sharing is one thing. So easy accessibility from anywhere, files, databases. Okay. Let's take example something like this. Let's say a huge company like Nike. So they have this, their mother company in their, let's say they have their mother company in USA. So all the details of this Nike shoes and this, every details about these shoes, their prices and everything on their database. And then someone in Sri Lanka, let's say, want to start a Nike online store, maybe. So there, we want to sell all the Nike shoes that comes under age 12. All the sports shoes comes under age 12. We want to sell it on our website. So we need all this data. So how can we get that one? In that case, Nike people, they give us access to a part of their database to get that data. So we are not going to create everything from the scratch. Instead, we can get access to that database, and we can, whenever they are adding new product, our website also get updated simultaneously, right? So that is one simple example of information sharing. And then search capability. Like if you don't have this www internet, you know, like the information that we shared among the internet is very huge, right? So for the information sharing, we need this data network. Then communication, of course, for these email messages and then broadcasting things, we need to have this data network. and then remote computing. So we can, since there's a network available, we can remotely log, or we can remotely connect with someone else's machine or someone else's device, and we can do the task we need. So these are the basic applications of data networks, starting from resource sharing, information sharing, communication, and remote computing. So do you need to remember these things? Of course, you have to remember these things. Right? Okay. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay. Right. Now we know what is a data network. We know the application of data network. Let's move on to the types of data networks. Okay. Before explaining you everything about this local area network or LAN, I'll take a simple example, and then with that example, let's dig into this. Let's say you are going to channel a doctor in our city center, right? So our city, they have now several hospitals in Colombo, so you are going to our city center. So once you go there, you have to pay, and then you can consult your, let's say, physician, and then you have some issue in your, let's say, ears. So he'll do some investigation, and then he'll ask you to do some kind of scan, let's say, and then you are going to another room in that same hospital building, and then you are doing that scan, and then they tell you that your scan reports will be coming, and then you pay, and then you come. So that is some very day-to-day life, very basic thing that we do, right? So this RCT Central Hospital itself, only that particular building, if you consider about that kind of a place, which has like about 13 floors, and then we have number of computers connected together for that scanner machine, and then all these fax machines, printers, and all these machines are connected together in one particular building, right? So that kind of a structure, we call it's a local area network, or LAN. So it's a small geographical area. So if you consider about your house, the network that you have around your router, that is also a LAN, a simple LAN. So it's a, probably it has to be a building, room, or maybe a campus with one particular building. One of like, there can be few particular buildings together. Like if you consider about Slit, Malambe, like even though we have number of buildings together, Malambe campus Slit, that's also a LAN, right? So it's in a small geographical area. So LAN has to be there in a small geographical area. That is number one quality of LAN, small geographical area. Network are privately owned. So these local area network, all these connections and everything in that particular building or that local area, it's privately owned by someone, right? It's not public, it's privately owned. Not that anyone else from the outside can access to our machine or our printer through their machines. But we can access, like from our machine, we can access to lab machine. From ITSD people, they can access to our machine. So same building, they have the access. So privately owned, but publicly, or the intruders cannot access to our system or anything, right? So that is number one. So these LAN, students, that can be situated up to even few kilometers, right? So sometimes, like if we consider about University of Peradeniya, maybe, like it's inside like few kilometers, but everything is connected. So University of Peradeniya is kind of a huge area. That's why I took it as an example. So it has number of buildings, and it's in like few kilometers area. But if we consider about the University of Peradeniya network, computer network, it's also a LAN. Slit, it's also a LAN. Your house, it's also a LAN, right? So the I need you to identify, even though the sizes are different in these three categories, still they comes under small geographical area and privately owned, and it's a land. Since it's restricted in size, that means their data transmission time can be known in advance, and the network management would be easier. So of course, like if we internally do something, it's not going through the internet, but it's in the intranet, inside links. So it's quick. So if you think about the RCT Central example that I took, so if you do something on the second floor, like the scan, so you can get the results at the ground floor. So it's in the same building. So you know the data transmission, it's quick, same building. Data transmission happen inside the same building, right? So I hope that is clear. So you have to remember all these things, because like after another 3 or 4 slides, we are supposed to have a quiz, and then you have to keep your mobile phones with you. And the sad thing is only the quickest 50 people can enter to the quiz, right? So let's see who are the quickest and smartest 50 in this batch, right? Okay, so you have to remember this one, and then you have to be very quick to enter the quiz. Okay, so that is about land. That is the smallest data network, land. Then comes man. Okay, so let's continue with that previous example, like this RCT Central thing. Right, so now after a few days, you want to channel that same doctor, because your ear is still paining. He gave so many medicines, but still no results. So you want to contact that same physician, but this time he is not available at RCT Central, but he is there at RCT Surgical. Right? So you may make the appointment to RCT Surgical, and you can go there. And then that doctor want to see your scan report, which you were taken at RCT Central, right? But even though that is in a different area, this doctor from his particular laptop, let's say, doctor's laptop, from that, he can access to the RCT Central system and get your scan report, right? So if you think about RCT Central, RCT Surgical, RCT Medical, all these things at this Colombo area, all these things together, it's a MAN. It's a Metropolitan Area Network. So Metropolitan Area Network is network. It utilizes across multiple buildings, and the distance, if you consider compared to the land, it's huge, right? So University of Peradeniya, it's a land, but when it comes to all these different buildings in the RCT group, that is a MAN. So commonly MAN used in schools, campuses, hospitals, banks, right? So think about the banks, how many banks we have in like this Colombo area, like, but if you have your account in Colombo city center, but still you can see and you can do some transaction in some other banks, right? So this metropolitan area network, you have to remember it, it's a huge one, it's huge, it's larger than LAN, but it's smaller than WAN, it says. So WAN, we are going to talk it later. And also, when it comes to MAN, it's used to mean the interconnection of several LANs by bridging them together. Okay, now that is interesting, right? So, like I said, RCT Central itself a LAN, RCT Surgical itself another LAN, RCT, what is the other one? RCT Medical. RCT Medical itself, it's another LAN. So, those three connected together and they create a MAN, right? So, interconnection of LANs in one particular area, it's a MAN. Okay. Yes, used in campuses. Yes, MAN. Okay. Now we know LAN. Now we know MAN. MAN also probably it's owned by private owners, but there can be some instances like MANs are used as a public network. So there are some things I want you to do a little research on, like what are the bandwidth? be used on LAN, what are the bandwidth used on LAN, and who owns this one. So that slide is coming. So I want you to do a small research on that part and have a good, more clear idea about these networks. So the last one and the final one is that we call it wide area network, WAN. So wide area network is a network spanning a large geographical area of around several hundred miles across the globe. So if you see this image, student, it's very clear that number of LANs get together, they create MAN. Number of MANs get together, they create WAN, right? So yes, probably it's WAN can be owned by private, or it can be leased from some kind of service provider. You can get a particular WAN purchased from the service provider. So it's privately owned, or you can lease it. Also called enterprise network if they are privately owned by a large company. So if we consider about this, like say Sampad Bank, like Mobitel, Dialog, so all these ones, they have these enterprise networks, right? So they connected through cables, fiber, or satellite. So this media, all these things, those are comes from satellite. So either they are connected through cables or satellite. So if you think about the speed starting from LAN, when it comes to WAN, it typically low because there are so many things connected together for LAN to do the work. But when it comes to LAN, few components, small area. Then MAN, compared to LAN, it's quite large, but compared to WAN, it's a small. So the speed is moderate. But when it comes to WAN, speed is very slow. Right. So this is your first homework. So you know the definitions of LAN, MAN, and WAN. So I want you to find out the bandwidth and how these connections happen. What are the connection medias? What are the problems with these networks? Like I said, like the good points of this, like LAN, if it's advantage of LANs, like it's very speed-wise, it's good. But disadvantage-wise, like if we consider about WAN, it's very slow, right? Okay, so like that, you have to find out the problems, ownership, and the cost, setup cost. What is the minimum setup cost it will take to form a LAN, right? Okay. Now we talk about WAN. So internet, something that everything is impossible if we don't have internet, right? So we can have this internet because we have WANs, right? So internet is a global system of interconnected computer networks that use the internet protocol suite to link devices worldwide. Okay, it seems like confusing, right? So protocol and interconnected and global system, right? Yes. Okay, so now you need to memorize, so like you don't need to keep all these words as it is in your mind. So, but I want you to understand internet. Internet in the sense it's a global system. So this LAN, WAN, MAN, we talk about a local system, right? So when it comes to internet, it's a global system. It's a network of network, right? So there can be private network, public network, business network, academic network, government network. So local to global, it's becoming huge and huge and huge. And then everything now is connected through this internet, right? So linked by broad array of electronic, wireless, and optical network technologies. So the internet is the biggest WAN that we have, right? So www, World Wide Web, is internet. It is the biggest WAN in the world. Like everything through this internet, like there are quite like it's like uncountable number of devices are connected together to do the communication, do the work, right? So internet is the hugest WAN. Okay. Are you ready to do the quiz? Right. Now, take your mobile phones. I want you to type kahoot.it. Let me type it here. I think you have tried it earlier. Kahoot.it. Kahoot it. Type it on your browser. On your mobile phone, take your browser and type kahoot.it and share the image of that one. Screenshot maybe, so that I can see whether you get the correct one. Only first 50 people can do that. Okay, pin, wait. Okay. So you can see the screen, right? Okay, this is the game pin. Senal is there, Sayumi, Sanuka, all is, John, passing, okay. 15, 16, 20, 23, 25, 29, 30, 31, 32, 37. Okay. How we can join more than 50, seems. Okay. 61. I think the first 80 people can join. See, have your name correctly. There's a person called I. LOL. Come on, student. You don't want to see your names. Okay, I think 81. That's it. Okay, 82. Okay. 85, 86. Shall we start the quiz? Okay, I can see something in the chat says that. Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. So you have to pick the one with the correct color on your mobile phone, right? So if it's titanium, you can see a red color one on your mobile, right? If it's a fiber, you have to click the green color tab on your mobile. Enough, right? Okay, so 52% says it's titanium. Data links are not established with. And then there are 23 people say data links are not established with Wi-Fi. Okay, and then 4 says it's optic cables and 5 says it's 5. Okay, let's move to the next question. Okay, Diane. Clap for Diane. Diane is the fastest and the one who answered correctly first. Second question. Not application of data network. Yes, so scanning is not an application of data network. 71 of you give the correct answer. And then I'm wondering about this people who gave the wrong answers, right? Okay, let's see who was the quickest. Okay, Sayumi. Right, let's go to the next question. Networks are privately owned within a small area. Okay, so it's LAN. Okay, so these 8, 9, 10, 11. So you people are not listening to the lecture? Or you are just click whatever you feel like, or it's like the yellow is your favorite color or something like that? Or you can't see the questions? Okay. So 81, very good. So network, a privately owned network within a small area, that is LAN. 81% gave the correct answer. Let's see who won this time. Wow, great. That is Sayumi. Now she's leading. Great. Yes, girl power. Come on. Fourth question. Networks span in a large geographical area of around several kilometers. So what is our question? Networks span in large geographical area of around several hundred miles across the globe. Okay, when it says the word across the globe, it cannot be man, right? Okay, so 66 people get that one correct. Let's see who's leading. Yes, Senal is leading now. Come on, Sayuri. Come on, Sayuri, you can do this. Okay, last question. It's a network that utilizes across multiple buildings. Okay, there can be two correct answers actually. Yeah, man. And then, yes, the people who mentioned LAN also, it also could be correct, right? Okay. You want to see who's the winner? Sankalpa, third place. Sayumi, second place. And then here comes the winner. Shenal. Okay. Congratulations, Shenal. Okay. So Shenal, Sayumi, and Sankalpa is this week genius. Right. So next week also we are going to have another. Let's have quite a about 10 questions in next quiz, right? So get ready. So next time, let's see who is the winner and who can who can showcase their names like this. Okay. So I have some chats. Oh, you need your prize. Okay, prize comes with your grade and everything, right? So once you do your exams, you can see the prize. Okay, right. Yes, we should. We do that again. So every week, let's do something like that, right? Quiz. So I have another kind of quiz, not a Kahoot one, but something else. Let's do that. Okay, yes, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Yes, it's interesting. Party, yes, this is a party, right? It's kind of party.